There's certain headlines that you read that you instantly have to know more, right? Like local priest steals more eggs. You need to know more, right? Like you can't just leave it at that headline, right? Kind of like every title of every video on this channel, you need to know more, or you just need to figure out why I look so damn sexy in the thumbnail, which is a totally fair question. And in the world of football, usually that doesn't have to do with retirement posts. A retirement post is like the most boring possible thing that you could get. You normally know it's coming for a while. Fabrizio Romano tells you about it 2 years in advance because somebody fed some information into his AI computing system, right? And you don't even need to read it. It's an AI generated apology post. Every once in a while you get one that's done particularly well, like Xabi Alonso with the boots, you know, and it captures the emotion of the moment. But this was a retirement announcement that I had to stop. And I was not the only person, because this, even though it came from a smaller club, no offense intended there, 23,000 likes on this tweet because of how startling it was. I'll hit you with it. It is with a heavy heart that we today confirm the retirement of young 16-year-old defender Ben Dumigan. Hold on. See what I mean? You're sitting there and you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, excuse me? A 16-year-old retiring. And I'm warning you, this is one of those stories that's going to make you incredibly thankful. Don't worry, he's alive. It's going to make you incredibly thankful. Wait, hold on. Can you imagine if they announced that he was dead by saying that he had retired? Did any of you actually think that? Like, I had the thought that maybe I need to specify that he's not dead, but did anybody actually think that no. That would be potentially the worst way to announce a player's death in recorded human history. But anyways, this is a story that's going to make you feel very thankful for the fact that you have the opportunity to play competitive sports. You just sucked, and so did I, right? So we didn't, but at least we had that opportunity. And if I could, I would give that opportunity to Ben Dumigan. Because at the end of January, whilst undergoing medical tests in advance of him signing for Bundesliga club Hoffenheim, that's right, 16 years old, Cork City Youth Academy, Irish U17 international, about to move to a Bundesliga club in Hoffenheim, received a diagnosis of hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. Easy for you to say. This dude had his whole life ahead of him. I know that's like the most corny cliche thing that you could possibly say, but can you imagine how much of a baller you have to feel like if you are playing professionally in Ireland and all of a sudden Hoffenheim gives you a call and it's like, oh my goodness, a Bundesliga club is interested? Hell yeah. Like, you're calling your parents, you're calling your friends. I'm going to a Bundesliga club. They want me in their academy, right? This is the same sort of situation that a guy like Christian Pulisic ended up in. He moved to Germany at 15, I think, like old 15. And then you spend a year or two developing, and then maybe you actually explode in development and turn into a first-team guy. I mean, these are the types of players that in a couple of years from now emerge into the first team, and you go, oh, amazing. That's not to say that, Dumigan was going to be that guy. At this point, he's definitely, I can say with confidence, not going to be that guy unless he wants to put his life in danger. But you are in position, right? You are on the right trajectory. At least you have not fallen off the wagon the way that all the rest of us that wanted to play professional sports did fall off the wagon at some point to the top. He's still on the wagon going up the mountain until you have your physical before the transfer and you discover this. But there are a couple different ways to look at this. One is another bad one, which is Ireland cannot catch a break. That national team has not been up to snuff recently, and now you've got a guy that might be able to move to the Bundesliga and then hopefully try to weasel his way into the Hoffenheim first team over the next couple of years, and he's got a heart condition and now he can't go, right? So that's just, shout out to Ireland. Second worst thing to happen since the potatoes. No, I'm just kidding. It was a joke. My last name is Shannon. Leave me alone. It is, though. My last name is actually Shannon, and my beard turns red in the sun, so I'm on your team. But the other way to look at this is actually a positive one, which is that if you don't find something like this, he can develop what is called an arrhythmia, a fatal arrhythmia, which is a in a heartbeat that is irregular, basically. So your heartbeat is, it's like a good drummer, right? It just keeps on going. And arrhythmia is when your heartbeat is a bad drummer, a drunk drummer, perhaps, and it's not going at the same pace. And this condition can cause a fatal arrhythmia. And to be perfectly honest, after watching Christian Eriksen go down on the field, I've had just about enough of people disintegrating on the field due to heart issues. And so this move to Hoffenheim very well might have saved his life. Incredibly ironically, him actually being good enough to get a move to Hoffenheim to mandate this type of physical as part of that sort of international transfer, that very well could have been what saved his life, which is ironic. It's like if he was worse at the game, he might have actually been in more danger. Being better at the game and having a brighter future in the game very well could have saved his life. Now, of course, there were a ton of the reactions to this, but we'll get to the logistics. The diagnosis was confirmed by cardiologists in Cork, so they went back through and kind of confirmed it again. So this is not something that is ever really going to be reversed. And HCM, which is the condition, causes an abnormal thickening of a part of the heart muscle, which is what ends up causing the fatal arrhythmia. You didn't expect to get some sort of doctor's lesson here today, but that's I'm full of surprises, okay? The good news, though, like the best news, is now that they've found it, this kid has the opportunity to live a very long and healthy life. He just can't, he's not going to be running marathons, right? He can't subject himself to extreme physical stress. He can go for a jog, right? But he can't play Sunday League, probably, right? He cannot subject himself. I'll let them, they word it probably better than I'm going to be able to. He can enjoy many types of moderate exercise, but the stress that competitive football places on the heart puts Ben at a higher risk of developing an arrhythmia. He, of course, released a statement as well, which is kind of the most heartbreaking part. Announcing my retirement from competitive football at such a young age is something I never imagined I would have to do. The diagnosis has been a shock, and the past number of weeks has been very challenging. Even though I can never play football again, the diagnosis may have saved my life, and I'm grateful for that. I feel overwhelmed by the amount of support that I have received, and I want to thank everyone at Hoffenheim, at CAA Base, and everyone at my schoolboys club, Middleton FC, and my school, Middleton CBS, for their support. So shout out to those. I also want to thank my friends and family for their love and support. In particular, I want to thank everyone at Cork City, especially Liam Kearney, who has been incredibly supportive during what has been a very difficult time. Club, to its credit, offered to do anything they can to help him adjust this very significant change in his life, and they talked about how he was obviously a very clearly talented footballer, evidenced by the fact that he was getting ready to move to Hoffenheim in the first place. And then the article ends kind of somber, right? Even though it's a very good send-off, the article ends and his career is over. And just like that, one of the most promising players, it seems, in the Irish league, who is getting ready to move to Hoffenheim, has the light of his career just snuffed out. Pour one out for this kid tonight. And when you go around and play in your men's league and kick a ball around, be a little extra thankful that you can do it in the first place.